Hello student and welcome back to Electronics Paper 1 Applied Electronics. So let us proceed. Chap Chapter number 2, Power Supply. So student, already we have seen 5 sessions of power supply. So let us very fast revise what we have done in this 5 session. We started with the block diagram of a regulated power supply. What were the blocks of the power supply? The transformer, rectifier, followed by filter and voltage regulator. Transformer, there are two type of transformer, step up and step down transformer. In a DC regulated power supply, we uses a step down transformer. A transformer changes the AC mains voltage to a required value, right? Then a rectifier. The rectifier converts AC to DC. So we have seen three type of rectifier circuit: half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier and bridge full wave rectifier circuit. We have seen the circuit diagram, the waveform and their parameters, right? Then we have seen comparison of this rectifier circuits. Then but the output of the rectifier may be fluctuating, it is not constant. Therefore, a filter circuit is used for smoothing out the AC variation from the rectified output. So next block was filter circuit. We have seen there are different type of filter circuit we can use, that is capacitor filter, inductor filter, the combination, that is inductor capacitor filter and series RC filter. Okay, a voltage regulator is necessary to maintain a constant output DC voltage by providing line regulation and load regulation. So the next block was voltage regulator circuit. So we have seen the necessity for a voltage regulation. A Zener regulator or a three-terminal IC regulator can be used for this purpose. So we have seen in last session we have seen the Zener regulator and a three-terminal IC regulator was used as a regulated circuit. Yeah. Zener, we have seen the VI characteristics of a Zener diode. Then we have seen three-terminal ICs. We have seen two type, fixed type voltage regulation and adjustable voltage regulator, right? So we have seen up to this in the 5 session. So today we'll see session 6. So let us proceed. So in previous session we have seen Zener diode as voltage regulator which provide a constant DC voltage in the breakdown region only. The voltage regulation can be improved by using a negative feedback. The output voltage remains constant even when there are relative large change in line voltage and load current. We have seen in previous session where the transistorized series regulator. Why to use transistorized series regulator? Is more sensitive to the voltage changes and provide a better regulation. The DC input voltage is obtained from the unregulated power supply consisting of rectifier and filter circuit. The Vin has a typical peak-to-peak ripple of about 10% of the DC voltage. So the output DC voltage consists of the 10% of the ripple. So now let us see the transistorized regulator. So the transistor T1 is an emitter follower. See, it is emitter follower and it is also called as series pass element because all the load current passes through it. Transistor T2 operate in the active region in a linear common base amplifier as a linear common base amplifier. It serves as a differential amplifier. A voltage divider formed by R1 and R2 samples out the output V output and delivers a feedback voltage Vf to the base of the transistor T2. The feedback voltage Vf controls the collector current of the transistor T1 of the transistor T2. 2. So the output voltage is stabilized against the change in the open loop gain, the linear voltage and the load resistance. So it keep irrespective of, it keeps the output voltage constant. So we have seen the circuit explanation. So T1 is a bypass or series bypass transistor. T2 is nothing but is an amplifier, it's a common base amplifier. A voltage divider circuit is there and VF, a feedback voltage, is given to the base of the transistor T2, right, which controls the collector current of T2. So this is the circuit description. Now let us see what happens when the output changes. So let's see the working. Now we have seen the transistor T1 is a emitter follower, T2 is a differential amplifier, a voltage divider. Now let us see the working. The output voltage V0 is equals to V in minus the voltage across the transistor T1, that is VCE, right, as per the KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. The normal condition, when the input voltage and the load resistance are constant, output voltage will remain constant. So in normal condition there is no issues, the output voltage will remain constant. But when the output increases, now two case, either the output will increase or output will decrease. So when the output increases, what happens when the output increases? This we have seen, it's fed back to the base of the transistor T2. So the voltage at the transistor T2 increases and the voltage of the collector decreases, of transistor T2 decreases. In turn, the base voltage of transistor T1 decreases and this causes increase in collector current. Hence, what is our equation? VO is equal to VI minus VC. So when this increases, so VI minus VC, the output voltage will decrease, keeping the output voltage constant. Is it clear? So when the output voltage increases, the base voltage or the feedback voltage increases, causing decrease in the collector voltage of that transistor, and in turn increases the collector current of the series bypass transistor of this, keeping the output constant. But output equation is VO is equals to VI minus VCE. So by this way we can keep the output voltage constant. So now the second case, when the output voltage decreases, the base voltage at transistor T2 decreases, that is the feedback voltage decreases, causing the increase in the collector voltage of transistor T2, and this is connected to the base of transistor T1. So the voltage of the transistor base voltage of transistor T1 increases and in turn cause decrease in the collector emitter voltage of the transistor T1. So the voltage across the collector emitter decreases. So what is our output equation? VO is equals to V in minus VC in. So when VC in decreases, so it is subtraction. So V out will increase. So keeping the V out constant. So what happens? The amount of output voltage increases or decreases, that voltage is fed back and in turn VCE is increases or decreases, keeping your output voltage constant. So irrespective of the change in the output voltage is kept constant. Clear? So this is nothing but transistorized series regulator. We have seen two cases, when the output voltage increases and if the output voltage decreases, how it is kept constant, the output voltage, how it can kept constant by the feedback voltage. Clear? So let us see the next circuit, that is current limiting series transistorized regulator. So the transistorized series regulator is modified with the current limiting circuit. Why it is required? Because if the output terminals of the power supply is accidentally short, circuited, then the load current increases dangerously to a high level, and this current may destroy the series bypass transistor as well as the Zener diode. Hence, it is necessary to control the load current, and for that purpose, a current limiting circuit is introduced in a transistorized series regulator. So here in this circuit, the resistor RSC is a current sensing resistor is used with the transistor T3 to limit the load current to the required amount. Clear? So this is a current limiting circuit. Student, the question may come, explain the current limiting series transistor regulator. So you have to explain this circuit, not the transistor series regulator circuit. Clear? In the normal condition, when the load current through SC RSC is less than the particular value, which cannot produce zero point 0.6 at the voltage across the base emitter junction of the transistors T3. See, in normal condition, we don't require this current limiting circuit. Okay, so it will remain cut off, right? So across the base junction of the transistor T3, so it is cut off. In this condition, the transistor T1 and T2 work normally, right? And the circuit provide the regulated output voltage. So there is no issue. So this will become active only when the base voltage is more than 0.6 volt. Clear? Right now in normal condition, transistor T3 will be in cutoff. It will not be there in picture. Clear? Now, so when the load current increases more than the IL max, when the load current through RS is sufficient to produce zero point 0.6 volt across the T3 and T3, the transistor 3 becomes forward bias. The VC3 becomes 0, but V3 is equals to VB1, that is equals to 0. So this, the collector voltage of the transistor T3 is provided to the base B1, that will be equal to 0, and hence transistor T1 will be cut off. So VCE of transistor becomes equals to Vin. So VCE equals to Vin. So output voltage is equals to 0, right? When the load current exists. Since the output voltage V0 is equals to 0, the circuit is almost in dead condition. So the excess current through T1 thus becomes 0, and it protects from burning due to the excess heat that may produce in it. The value of SC for a required to limit of current, its power dissipation can be calculated. So we'll calculate the value of the resistance, that is RSC, that is zero point 0.6 volt upon IL max. What is the power dissipation? Power dissipation will be power is equals to zero point 0.6 volt VI, V is equals to zero point 0.6 volt into IL maximum. So by using a current limiting circuit, we can protect our regulator IC, right? So we can protect the transistor series regulator when there is a excess load current flowing through the circuit. Is it clear? Next one is switching mode power supply. So this is also a regulator, right? Circuit. So transistorized series regulator is widely used in power supply, but it has main drawback that when the load current increases, the series pass transistor dissipates more amount of power, and to dissipate that power, heat sinks are required. Due to the heat sink, the instrument becomes bulky and costly. To eliminate this drawback, switching regulators are used. So here we have three type of switching regulator: bulk SMPS, boost SMPS, and DC transformer SMPS. So there are three type of SMPS. This circuit, the switching mode power supply. Okay, this is a highly sophisticated power supply circuit. Its DC output at the output is very pure as compared to the general purpose DC power supply. It is light in weight, small in size and have low power consumption. It consists of a series pass transistor which conduct only when its base is positive. So it consists of a series bypass transistor, a diode, a inductor, that is input filter, a pulse generator. Okay, so it consists of a series bypass transistor which conduct only when the base is positive and is cut off when the base is negative. So here continuous pulse are coming, a square is coming. When the base becomes positive, the transistor will conduct, and when the base is negative, that is 0, it will cut off. Thus the transistor acts as a switch. The switching frequency of the transistor is about 20 kilohertz. So the output of the transistor, that is at the emitter, we get a series of digital pulses, and these pulses are passed through the choke L. It filters out unwanted variation in the pulses. The capacitor C provides further filter action. Here we are seen in filter circuit. Further filter action. A fast acting diode is connected across the emitter and ground of the circuit to absorb the back EMF produced by the inductor. Okay, so it produces, and pulse generator, this pulse generator will, the output of the pulse generator is a string of pulses which drives the base of the transistor. So when the base voltage is high, the transistor gets saturated, and when the base voltage is off, the transistor get cut off, right? So the duty cycle is of the circuit is defined as the on time to the period of the transistor circuit is readily available in package. So what is the duty cycle? Duty cycle D is equals to T on upon the total time T on plus T off into 100, because duty cycle is always represented in percentage. And what is the output? Output voltage of the circuit is given by VO is equals to duty cycle into V in. Clear? So that is nothing but switching mode power supply. So it is very used in mostly in computers. SMPS is used. This is used there. So in highly sophisticated instrument, we use SMPS, where it is light in weight, low power consumption, no heat produced. So for all these advantages, we use switching mode power supply. Clear? So duty cycle is T on. T on is on time plus the total period T. Period T is equals to T on plus T off into 100. Clear? And the output voltage is equals to duty cycle into V in. So that is nothing but SMPS. Let us now the advantages of SMPS. So very useful for sensitive electronic equipment like computers, CD player, video cameras and etc. It has less power dissipation in the series pass transistor. The power dissipation in SMPS is less. We have seen in series regulator for large load current, there is a large power dissipation in the pass transistor. But in SMPS, as the transistor acts as a high-speed switch, the power is used more efficiently, right? The next advantage, it can be built in a small size. The large and heavy mains transformer is not necessary. A small transformer can be provide the isolation. The last one, it has negligible loading effect. See, safety devices are used to provide protection against overload and short circuit. Then at the same time, two different voltages can be obtained, that is plus 20 volt and plus 1110 volt. So these are the advantages of SMPS. Disadvantages of SMPS. The response to load variation is slower than the dissipative regulator. They are more complex than the series regulator. The electromagnetic, because we are using the inductor, the electromagnetic interference is created due to the switching technique. Continuously switch on and off because of the pulse generator, so is created due to the switching techniques. So these are the disadvantage of SMPS. So student, here we came to the end of the chapter power supply. Now let us see, revise what we are done in this chapter. First, we have seen a block diagram of power supply. Which were the blocks of the power supply? The transformer, rectifier, filter and voltage regulator. Transformer, we have seen there are two type of transformer, step up and step down transformer. In a power supply, we use a step down transformer. Rectifier, we have seen three types of rectifier: half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier. Comparison between this rectifier circuit also we have seen. Then the next block was filter. We have seen the use of filter, the different types of filters, that is capacitor filter, inductor filter, LC filter and RC filter. Then the last block was regulator. So regulator circuit, we have seen Zener as voltage regulator, transistor series voltage regulator, then 3-pin IC voltage regulator and the last one SMPS. We have seen the problems based on it. Clear? So here we came to the end of power supply chapter. So very important, transistor series voltage regulator, Zener diode, SMPS, rectifier, the comparison between the rectifier filters. Whenever the question comes on the filter or rectifier, you have to draw the diagram, the waveform and explanation for 3 marks. Without circuit diagram, the explanation would not give you the marks. Clear? Circuit diagram, waveform and then explanation for 3 marks. 1 mark reserved for diagram, 1 mark for the waveform and 1 mark for the explanation. So student, here we came to the end of the chapter 2 power supply. Very important chapter. So we have completed one chapter from paper 1, that is chapter number 2 power supply. Thank you.